Hello. So I was fully prepared to stand up here and give a speech about girls' rights until last night, when I got an email from my uncle. My uncle, like somehow all uncles everywhere, is a conservative. He's made it his personal mission to convert the liberals in the family over to the Church of Conservatism. He does this by spamming my inbox with Breitbart links, which I normally ignore, but his email yesterday caught my eye, because in it, he praised WikiLeaks. He said that they were doing God's work by releasing the transcripts of Hillary Clinton's private emails and her speeches to Goldman Sachs. He said that they were increasing the transparency and democracy, that this was fundamentally democratic. And it seems that the American populace as a whole can't quite decide how to feel about WikiLeaks, this organization whose self-described mission is to open governments. So if there's any confusion in this room, let me be clear. We should be inherently distrustful of an organization whose goal is to publish unverified and potentially classified documents to the public at large. First of all, WikiLeaks puts the lives of people into danger. A report commissioned by the Associated Press that came out a few months ago found that WikiLeaks in 6 years has published thousands of documents that put into risk the safety of people from around the world, who include but are not limited to victims of sexual assault and gay people in Saudi Arabia, a country where homosexuality is considered a crime punishable by death. Time and time again, WikiLeaks has shown its inability and unwillingness to moderate and censor the information that comes its way. WikiLeaks has coined its own special brand of commercial whistleblowing. It's become profitable for it, therefore, to release the information that's going to get the most shock value, that's going to be the most jarring to the public, rather than to think about the social responsibility it has to the public. WikiLeaks encroaches upon the natural right that human beings have to privacy. It takes away freedom in its quest to expand it. WikiLeaks makes no distinction between releasing evidence of war crimes and releasing someone's personal emails. And with all the information that comes its way, most of it obtained illegally, who's to stop them from selling it to the highest bidder, whether it be a private company or a government? WikiLeaks isn't bound by a code of conduct. No one elected them. Why are we trusting them? Julian Assange isn't some kind of Cincinnatus figure. We can't expect him to ride in on a white horse in favor of democracy. We created this democracy through elected representatives. We have to work within this system to effect proper change. And in this vein, WikiLeaks operates under a profoundly flawed notion of what democracy is and what democracy can be. Democracy doesn't exist in a vacuum, and no government that attempts to operate under complete transparency can function. As explained by John Locke and later by my history professor here at Barnard, in consenting to be governed, we enter into something called a social contract, which sees us give up some of our rights in order to benefit from greater rights on a mass scale. Under the structure of a democratic republic, we have agreed to give up the right to complete transparency in government so that we can have a government that gets stuff done. But if you in the audience, as private American citizens, decide that what you want is more transparency in government, there are ways to get this. You can go out and get organized, get your friends, colleagues, people who think like you, talk, discuss, protest, or better yet, work to elect members to Congress who share your views and desire for more transparency. Become a journalist and find information that you care about, verify your sources, and be held accountable for it. And the next time you hear someone espousing views about WikiLeaks, stop and challenge them. Tell them, ask them if they're comfortable living in a world in which anything that they do in private or say can be made public. Better yet, ask them if they're comfortable with the idea of a sort of global NSA organization, except this one isn't bound by any constitution nor held accountable by any big body of people. Don't rely on an unelected man holed up in an Ecuadorian embassy to tell you about the world you live in. You have the information and the resources to get what you need. Go out and do it. At least, that's what I emailed my uncle this morning in response to his email. He still hasn't responded. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Caroline. Do we have questions on the speech?
people do not need to be held accountable for the words that they say, doesn't it seem that people should always be held accountable for things that they say?
Absolutely, but there's a difference between being held accountable for things you say as a government and being held accountable as a private citizen. And we have means through journalistic principles that are protected under our Constitution to get the information that we want. But when we funnel all of this into one organization and we let one man and one kind of branch of an organization decide how we should get all this information and who should get it and where it can go, it is fundamentally undemocratic. It's not promoting freedom of information, it's promoting selective information.
Any other questions? Yes.
This is, I guess your idea is coming from the standpoint that this is a truly representative democracy. So what would you say to people who don't think that the system that we live in is worth trusting?
I actually wouldn't agree that our democracy is completely representative of the people, but I think that it has the ability to be. We as humans haven't figured out a perfect system of government, but we've gotten a lot closer. 500 years ago, we had we had no government here. We had a king in England, and it was a mess. But we've made it better, and we can continue to make it better. But if we don't want to live in a world where it's like The Walking Dead, we have to do this through government channels. Otherwise, people are going to take all the rights for themselves, because again, it goes back to the idea of the social contract in which we have to agree to give up some rights for the greater good, and we can work for a better government as a people rather than as individuals.
Great, thank you so much.